my book journey. Today I have my part 4 of my bookshelf tour. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and hopefully this will be a shorter video because this is a lesser amount of books because of the category that I'm talking about today. So I have done part 1 was my Christian fiction shelf, my Christian fiction bookcase, and then part 2 I believe was my World War II and historical fiction kind of books, and then part 3 was my historical fiction, was my secular bookshelf, and I had a ton of books there. So today I have my smaller bookshelf. Actually, it's kind of like a newer little makeshift bookshelf. It was actually in my daughter's room and she didn't want it anymore. I'll put a picture right here. She didn't want it anymore, so she's like, hey, you want it? So she kind of just pushed it into my office, and I saw a lot of empty space, and so I said, yes, I'll just put some more books in there. And so this one has most of my fantasy, secular fantasy, Christian fantasy, and sci-fi books are in here. I don't have a whole lot of those compared to the other bookshelves that I have, but I do love that genre. I'm starting to read more of that. And then I'm also going to do, and I'm also going to show you just my little section of like classics. Very small, just to throw that in there. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so starting off with the little small shelf that I have here. On the very top, I am just, for right now, I've just put the books that are on my May TBR that I'm going to be reading this month. Honorable Imposter, Stuart Little, Appalachian Song, Beneath Scarlet Sky, one of the books in the Narnia series, and then Kristen Hanna's The Great Unknown. So these are the books I'm hoping, some of the books anyway, these are some of the books that I'm hoping to read during the month of May, and I just set them on top of this shelf here. And then this next shelf, or cubby, little cubby, has all my library books that I have checked out from the library. So I have Annihilation, which I want to try to read this month too. And then I have The Story She Left Behind that I want to try to read. And then this one, I don't know if I've spoken about this one. This one I picked up at the library the other day. It's also a new release. This author wrote We Were the Lucky Ones, which I read and really enjoyed. So I have this checked out. Possible read for May as well. And then A Language of Dragons, which is a fantasy book. And then The Girl from Greenwich Street. So several library books, and I always have a ton. Oops, sorry. I always have a ton of library books that I check out, just in case, you know, I want to read them, add them to my TBR. Okay, so we'll start right here, I guess. This is, I have talked about these recently because they were at a recent book haul. These are the Stephanie Garber Once Upon a Broken Heart is the first one in the series. And then I picked up book 2, The Ballad of Never After. So there's that one, those. I have read this book already, but I picked it up recently at a thrift store, I believe. The Martian by Andy Weir. This one is a book that my son gifted me a long time ago, and I started reading it and I didn't finish it. But it's a Star Wars novel about Ahsoka, and the reason he got that for me was because we were watching the Clone Wars, I think they're called, the cartoons, and which I loved, and I loved her character, and so he got me that book. Okay, so this one, I don't really know a whole lot about it. I just know a lot of people talk about it. It's called Half a King by Joe Abercrombie, and so I have that one. This one I picked up at my library sale because it looked interesting. Starflight by Melissa Landers. I believe this is a YA book. I'm not quite sure. And then this book is a book that my daughter got me for my birthday last year, I think. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And gosh, I've been wanting to read this and another one. All these books I've been wanting to read. And I need to read it because she gifted that to me and I have not read it yet. And It's supposed to be really good. And then finally on this this stack, I have this book that I picked up at a library sale for 50 cents. And look at this big chunker. It's Leviathan Wakes by James Corey. And I've also heard really good things about this series. So I just haven't got around to reading it. So those are all of these so far on this top row. Now I'm going to go down here. This is a set that I also picked up on that last book haul. It's a duology, Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves by Mary A. Pearson. Stick that up there. And then I have read this one, The Recorder. It's the Consortium series. This is a Christian fiction sci-fi series. I have books 1 and 2. I have not read book 2 yet. And this one is Aberration. These are is it the selection? What is it called? What's the series called? I don't know what the title of the series is, but I have the first 3 books, Selection, The Elite, and The One, and then I think a novella for the Selection stories. So I have not read these yet. Hopefully I just need to read the first one, and if I like it, I'll continue on. If I don't like it, then I need to just unhaul these, because they've just been on my shelf for a while. And I really need, as I've been doing these book tours, or these book shelf tours, I've really realized how many books I have on my shelves that I just have not started reading, and I just need to either read them and see if I like them, and if I don't, just get rid of them. Just unhaul them, you know. So, and it's hard for me to do that, but yeah, I need to do that. Okay, this next book, I did read this one, and this is by Christy A. Cole, Ariadne and the Legend of the Fire Rose, and I just loved this one. I'm so anxious for her to give us the second book in the series, and if you haven't read this one, highly recommend this book. So good. And so she's also a booktuber here on BookTube, and I will link her channel below and her book. I just love it. Okay, and then this one is one I have not read. The Skin Map by Stephen R. Lawhead. Shadow and Bone. Shadow and Bone, which has been on a lot of TBRs in the past, and I just haven't gotten around to reading that one. We have Kindred. This book is on my journey through the decades, for I believe the 1970s, I think. So I will be reading that one. And then we have The Princess Bride. I love this cover. And I've not read the book, but I have, of course, watched the movie and just really loved that one. And then this one is also by Octavia Butler. She's the one that wrote Kindred. And so this one's called, is it Dawn? Is it just, right, Dawn. And she writes like sci-fi books, so I can't remember what this one was about, but I picked it up because I recognized the author. Okay. Down here we have Recursion, which I did read and loved, by Blake Crouch. Such a good book. I just finished reading another book by him that I don't have, because that was a book that I checked out from the library, but that'll be on my wrap up for May. It's my first book that I read in May. Then we have this book, and I've been, of course, right now, the second one in this series is out, and everybody's talking about that one because it's the story about Haymitch's background. This is, I think his name's Snow. Is it Snow? I can't remember. Yeah, it's been a while since I've read the first series, but anyway, I want to read these. I've heard nothing but good things about them. This one is I've heard is good, but the one that's out now is even better. But I want to start reading these, and maybe, I don't know if I want to read the first Hunger Games book just to familiarize myself again with the characters, and then, you know, read these prequels. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But I'm super jazzed that I picked up that one at my library sale. Okay, this one is a trilogy called The Color Theory. I did read this book, Vivid, and just really loved that one. And so I do want to continue on. The second book is called Radiant, and the third book is Chromatic. And this is a fantasy story about people that use colors as a source of their power. It's super interesting. Okay, and then I think this is a trilogy. I do not have book 2. I love Jennifer Nielsen, but I haven't read any of her fantasy books. So the first book is The False Prince. The third book is The Shadow Throne. I don't have the third book, or the middle book. So I'm trying to find, if I find that one, then I'll go ahead and start that series, but I haven't been able to find the other one. Okay, this one, I don't have the cover to it. I don't know what happened to it. But this one I bought a long time ago because I heard that it was really good. And this is The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And so that is, you know, I just forget it's even in here because I don't see it with the cover. Okay, this one is, I don't even know what this one is. The Invasion, a chaos novel. I mean, I picked it up because it sounded really interesting, but obviously I just haven't. It is YA, and so, but looks like it's about aliens, possibly. Well, don't know. Okay. All right, next little cubby has my favorite of all time sci-fi book, and that's Project Hail Mary. I just recently picked that up, and that was in my last haul, so I'm probably going to read that next month. I'm going to reread that next month. I already read that one. Okay, I picked up these at my library sale as well, and you all in the comments will have to let me know if this series is good or not. This is book 1, The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clark. And so this is an older series that's been out here for a while. That's book 1, and then here's book 2. I found both of those for 50 cents, and I'm sure there's more in the series, but I just have those 2. But let me know in the comments if that's a good series. Then we have Caravel, and I read this one and I really loved it. I only have book 1, but that's the one I liked. I enjoyed the most out of the series, so I'm glad that I was able to pick that one up. Then we have Robin Hobb, Assassin's Apprentice, and we were just talking about Robin Hobb and Brandon Sanderson in a recent sprint that I was on Lucy Chronicles, her channel, and they were discussing some sci-fi, and Robin Hobb was one of them, saying that this is a good starting point to start this start with this author, and this one was recommended as a good book. This is book 1 in the Farseer trilogy. So got that one. Okay, I read this book. This one is Wolf by Wolf. This one is kind of like a historical fiction fantasy because it's an alternate universe set in World War II or after World War II, with the alternate reality if just what would have happened, say, if the United States hadn't joined in World War II and Hitler won. So I really, really liked this one. I read this one, and then that's book 1. I think, I'm trying to remember if that is a duology or if there's more than one. I think it's just a duology, and I do have book 2. I have not read it. I need to read it because I need to find out what happened at the end of the story with this character. It's very much fantasy because of what this character can do in the book. Okay, and then this one I did read. I really enjoyed this one. It's kind of bizarre for you all who love bizarre sci-fi books. The First 15 Lives of Harry August. This one is about, by Claire North, was about a man who lived his same life over and over and over again. After he died, he would just be reborn into the same life, and he lived multiple lives. And he's talking in this book about the first 15 of them. So, but it's really good book. Very suspenseful to find out what happened at the end. It's crazy. This is an older book I picked up, Time and Again by Jack Finney, like a time travel book. I love time travel books, so at least when I see them, I pick those up as well. Okay, and then down here we have our Stephanie Meyer section. I got my Twilight books. I have I think these are all of them, except for the only one I don't have is the one that she wrote with Twilight with Edward's perspective in the book, and I can't remember what that was, what that title is, but I don't. That's the only one I don't have. And then I have these two books that are not Twilight, but written by the same author. This is The Host. This one is such a chunker. But I have heard it's really good, and just haven't gotten around to reading it. This is a short novella based on the eclipse. I have that one, or based on Twilight. And then this is a book called The Chemist by Stephanie Meyer, and I've heard this one is pretty good too. I just haven't got around to reading these. So I have seen all the Twilight movies, but I've only read Twilight and New Moon. I haven't read the other ones yet, so they're on my my list to read one of these days, to finish reading them. But I'm glad I was able to find those, and I've got all those secondhand, all these books. Okay, so here's the last little cubicle here. I have a middle grade book called Nevermore by Jessica Townsend, The Trials of Morrigan Crow. Then I have here another middle grade, The Mysterious Benedict Society, that I picked up. What is this? Oh, this might be my middle grade section, because there's another one. This is the book 2 in the Harry Potter series. Last year I read the first Harry Potter book, so maybe when Cheryl does, hopefully, I think Cheryl, Candlewick Library, she did a readathon last year for based on Harry Potter. So if she does it again, I will read this. I will get around to reading the second book. And then I have The Goose Girl that I recently picked up. It's a fairy tale retelling. Also a middle grade, I believe, or young adult. This one is The Girl Who Drank the Moon. Did I read this one? I can't remember now if I read it or not. I'm drawing a blank. The Hobbit, which I hope to read soon. This one was a book that somebody recommended, and I found it at my library sale, The Seer and the Sword by this Victoria Handley. And she said it was a really good fantasy book. Then I have Cinder that I have not read yet, a fairy tale retelling of Cinderella. And then another book by Jennifer Nielsen. This is The Scourge. It's like a medieval book. Medieval. And then right up here, these are not sci-fi. This is just my stack of books that I plan to unhaul, maybe taking them to a Little Free Library sometime in the next few weeks, maybe for May. Do a big Little Free Library run, and this is like my stack so far, the books that I want to unhaul. And this one is not, this is my son's book. I just have it here. It's Secret Wars. It's a comic book. that that I'm in the process of reading. I read a little bit at a time of that one. Okay, here's another one I need to put in my middle grade section. It's the first book in the Wing Feathers saga, On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness, about dragons. So this is going to go into my middle grade. Not a very good job there, Alma. Middle grade section here. Okay, so up here on these shelves up here, I have kind of stored my classics that I have on hand. Rebecca, I have read. It was pretty good. The Picture of Dorian Gray, I have not read that. Or Hamlet. Or Frederica by Georgette Heyer. And then I have Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. And then I have read 1984, George Orwell. I was like thinking of whether or not I should unhaul that because I really didn't like it that much. But then I thought, well, might as well keep it. It's a classic. I have read Pride and Prejudice. Ethan Frome is not a very good copy of it. The cover is pretty ugly, but it's such a good book. I really enjoyed that one. And then Daddy Long Legs was one I read this year. I really enjoyed that one. Persuasion, an old copy by Jane Austen. This one is by Catherine Marshall, A Man Called Peter. And what is this one? Let's see. Oh, The Warden. I read that one too, by Anthony Trollope. I did like that one. And then these are some old junior classics that I found in a little free library. I just thought they were really pretty books. And they have just all kinds of old kids classics. This one's about fairy tales, myths and legends, old stories that never grow old, and stories from history. So they're pretty cool books. And then finally, I have a big chunker of a book, The Count of Monte Cristo, that I have picked up a while back, and I haven't even opened it to read it. Isn't that terrible? But it is on. I do want to read that. I was hoping to read that for Anne in Search of Wonder, her read along, but I just couldn't do it. I had so many books on my shelf, and I just didn't want to start it and not, I want to enjoy it when I read it. So I will try to read it maybe in a few months, get started on it and just read it little by little, because I have heard it's just a really great book. All right, so those are all the books on my shelf. Not a whole lot of classics, but, have a few and some that I have not read yet. All right, so those are all the books that I have on my shelves for my sci-fi, fantasy, and some other books that were on top of that. I forgot there was other books on there that I had on that shelf that I'm using. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to continue using that shelf. Like I said, it was my daughter's. Just didn't want it in her room anymore. And then as far as my classics ones, very small, very small. But I do have other classics around that they just don't fit up there. So they're kind of in other shelves as well. All right, so those are all the books. I don't have any more. Well, actually I do, but I don't think unless you all want to see it. It's kind of a mess. I do have one like shelf, couple shelves that have like my nonfiction things, that books that I have and journals and things. So I don't know if you'd be interested in that or not. Just comment below and let me know. If not, that's no problem, because I understand not everybody likes to look at those kind of things. So thank you for watching this series with me, and comment below if you've read any of these books that I have in my sci-fi. If you love sci-fi, or if you have any series out there that you think I would be interested